Check it out, you guys. I'm playing Super Mario World on my Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, and it's widescreen. How cool is that? I'm gonna show you how you can do this too, on your Retroid Pocket 3, or your phone, or your PC, or your toaster. Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario World.
Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario World.
Hello, hi, I'm TechDweeb. How you doing? Thanks for clicking on the video today. This will be a super quick little video, I think. I'm gonna show you how I got Super Mario World running in widescreen. It's freaking luxurious, playing this amazing classic game with proper full widescreen support. And it's easy to do. I did this here on my Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, but you can do this on any device running RetroArch, like your phone or your PC, and it's possible to do this with other games as well. I'll show you that at the end, but first let's start with Super Mario World. There are kind of two ways to do it. You can either do it the simple way, which I'll show you at the end, where you can do it with any game, or the more proper way is to do it by patching Super Mario World. I'll show you that first. The process is very simple. So we have to make a patched ROM and then download a special SNES emulation core to run the patched ROM. I'll include links in the description below to all of this stuff, including the original GitHub page for the patch, which has the full written instructions. So let's go through this step by step. The first step is to obtain a Super Mario World ROM. I would never tell you how to do such a thing. I wouldn't tell you to go to Google and search for Super Mario World ROM and just download it from a website. That's piracy, and you're not a pirate. So just go through all those other totally legitimate legal ways of obtaining Super Mario World ROMs to get yours, like I totally did. The next step is to download the files that we need for the patch. For that, just go to the GitHub page for the Super NES widescreen project, linked below, and on the right, under Releases, select Wide Fixes, and download the source code zip. Don't worry, we're not compiling the source code or anything, we're just getting this because it has the patches files that we need. Unzip that to a folder. Then you'll need a ROM patcher to patch the ROM with your ROM patch to make the patched ROM. I used this program called Flips, link in the description below. Download that and unzip it. Next, we'll need to apply our new patch to the ROM. So run flips.exe and you'll get a window with a few options. Click Apply Patch, and then it'll ask you to select the patch file. The patch file that you probably want is in the root level of the patch folder that you unzipped. It's called smw-widescreen.bps. Then it'll ask you where your ROM is. Select your totally legitimate legal ROM that you obtained through perfectly legitimate legal means. Then it'll ask you where you want to save your new patched ROM. I'd suggest that you save it to the root level of the patch folder. And you'll see that it's automatically given the same file name as the patch file. So leave this the way it is, then boom, you're done. Now we need to copy the ROM file and the patch configuration file, which has the extension BSO, over to your device. Make sure the ROM and the BSO file have the exact same file name. Finally, the last step, we need to download a special emulation core in RetroArch. You'll need to be using the 64-bit version of RetroArch, by the way. So open up RetroArch, and in the main menu, go to Online Updater, and then Core Downloader, and scroll through the list to find the Nintendo SNES bsnes-hd beta emulator. Actually, I lied. There's one more step, which will help in performance, because believe it or not, this emulator is actually pretty intensive. We need to select the perfect settings in RetroArch. So go ahead and load up your ROM by going to Load Content, select your ROM, and then when it asks which core to use, select our new bsnes-hd beta core. But before you start playing, let's immediately open the RetroArch settings. In here, there are two sections that we'll need to adjust. The first is under the main RetroArch settings. Go into the video settings menu, and in here, enable threaded video, which will help with performance. And then in the scaling menu, set the aspect ratio to full, just to make sure that there's no chance that it's not going to be using the full widescreen. The next section is under the quick menu. So go to the main menu, select the quick menu, and in here, select options. The options that you'll need are this. No sprite limit should be set to on. HD mode 7 scale should be set to 240p 1x. Widescreen mode should be enable for all scenes, and widescreen sprites should be set to render anywhere. And widescreen aspect ratio should be set for 16:9. And, well, that's it. You should be good to go with these settings. So go back to your game and give it a try. Play it for a little bit. Depending on the speed of your device, you may get some performance issues. I tried this on the RP3 Non Plus, and I wasn't running full speed there. There was a little bit of slowdown. And I think that's just due to the fact that this is a beta version of the emulator. Hopefully when this is released, they work on the performance optimization. But it's running fine on the RP3 Plus, and it ran fine on my phone as well. And it's absolutely luxurious playing this game in full widescreen mode. It actually feels like a new game, like a real modern game, but it's not. It's just good old Super Mario World. It's such a great way to breathe life into this classic. It's not only the best SNES game, it's not only the best Mario game, but by many accounts, it's one of the best games that have ever been made. This really is the definitive way to play the game that you love with a modern touch. I freaking love it. But that's not all. Remember how I said there were other games that you could play in widescreen? Well, using this emulator, you can play other games with varying degrees of success. They won't have full, proper widescreen support. You'll need to patch them for that, and there are only a few games that actually have proper patches like Super Mario World, but you can try other games and see how they do. Some games will have some weird glitches around the edges of the screen, some will completely break, and some will just run at their normal native aspect ratio. But lots of them will be totally playable in widescreen. And luckily, some cool guy made a list. This guy, Dark Devourer 183. He made this list that I'll link in the description below of all the games that you can run in widescreen and all the games that you can't. It's not every SNES game, obviously, but it's a ton of them. So, if you want to try to upscale other games, here's what you gotta do. In the bsnes-hd options, make sure Enable for all scenes is selected under widescreen sprites, and you can select a crop overscan of 12. Try your game with these settings. If your game works, then you're good. There'll probably be some games that have some visual glitches around the edges of the screen. If you're feeling ambitious, you can play around with options like the background layer options, set some of them to disable widescreen or enable above or below a certain value or something. If you find some settings that you like for a game, make sure that you save the game override from the quick menu so that it saves those specific tweaks just for that game. That's all beyond the scope of this video though. It's not a science, it's an art. So just check the game list for which games work, and if you don't see a game you want on there, you can try it for yourself, see how it goes, and you have some tools in the options to tweak the experience just a little bit, and maybe you can get some stuff working that other people haven't been able to figure out yet. And one more bonus tip, there is a Sega Genesis emulator that does the same thing. It's Genesis Plus GX Wide emulator, and you can download that the same way that we downloaded bsnes-hd beta. There aren't many options that you need to worry about, just download the emulator and try out your games. There's a shorter list of games that work well with this emulator as well. I'll include a link to that in the description below. And that brings us to the end. I hope you found this useful. Please let me know if you have any questions or tips for getting retro games working in widescreen, or if there's any other video topics that you'd like me to do or explore, and just leave your suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you down there. And while you're down there, click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or don't if you didn't. That's it for me. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.